Okay, if I can do this, trust me, you can do this. Today, we are going to install Auto GPT locally on your own machine, and I'm going to take you through the steps and some of the potential issues you might come up with. So without further ado, let's crack on. So as I said, I'm going to take you through the steps, and you're going to need 3 initial programs for this, one of which you might not actually need, because if the same thing happens to you as it happened to me, it didn't work. But there's a solution to this. So we'll take you through all the steps, and hopefully it'll all become very easy. As I said, I'm not super geeky. I'm a little bit geeky. I'm not super geeky, but if I can do this, you definitely can do this. Just follow the steps through, and hopefully it will work for you. And even if you come up with the same problems I came up with, the solution I have will also work for you. So let's crack on and take you through the steps. There's going to be a few things we're going to need through this whole process, and you're going to have to download. Starting off with Git for Windows. Funny because Git in the UK is an insult. If you call it a stupid old Git or a stupid Git. Anyway, Git for Windows. So get Git for Windows. Then we're going to also need Python. I'm going to take you through all the download processes and what to do, but this is just so you know what you're going to be needing. And then we also need Docker to help kind of run these things. Finally, we're going to be downloading Auto GPT here from GitHub itself, from Significant Gravitas Auto GPT. So they're the basic tools and everything you're going to need. So let's crack on with step 1. Okay, so first things first, Git. Git. So we're going to need to download it for Windows. I'm working on Windows PC, so we're just going to download it onto your PC and then install it. Go through all of that, install it where you want. Lovely jubbly. Yeah. There's lots of things to accept when you download it. Just go through and accept it. Unless you know really what you're doing, by all means, if you need to tweak it, and tweak it. Otherwise, just accept as is. Okay, so we're going to finish that. So that's that down there. So the reason we've downloaded Git is that it allows us to download applications from GitHub and kind of run them. But we're going to need also some other things, and the next thing along the line we're going to need is Python. So that's the next stage. Here we are. Welcome to Python, python.org. We're going to now download Python. Okay, so here we are on python.org. We want to go to download, and Windows, we want Windows. And then you've got all the various releases here. Now, I'm going to go for the latest Python release here. I have heard if you use stable LM, then it can have problems with the latest release. Now, I'm just going to use it for Auto GPT, so that's fine, but just bear that in mind. But I'm hoping that they'll kind of update things and bring everything in line and stuff like that. But I'm personally going to go for the latest Python release here. And what we want is the Windows Installer 64-bit recommended one here. Click on that. And again, we're going to download that. Okay, so now we're going to install Python. Now, really important, you need to add python.exe to path. So make sure this box here is ticked, and then just install it. Okay, and that's done. So we're going to close that. Okay, next you've got to decide where you want to where you're going to put Auto GPT on your files here. So I think I'm going to put it in my D file. So I'm going to create a D file in my D file, but put it wherever you kind of want to put it. That's the kind of the main thing. So let's make a new file, a new folder here, and we'll call it Auto GPT. Okay, and then all you need to do is double click on that file. Okay. Now we're going into the matrix, people. Yeah, this is where we get, geeky. If you feel comfortable swimming around in normal windows and stuff, we're taking off those armbands. Yeah, the swimming armbands. What we're going to do is we're going to click in here like that, and then we're just going to type CMD, and boom, we're in the matrix, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are in sort of behind the scenes, as it were, behind the curtains. And this is what we need to, this is where we need to be. We're in the command center here, ready to do our nerdy programming. So now we need to install the stuff from GitHub, and that's why we've opened this command window. So if we go to the GitHub here, remember it's GitHub Significant Gravitas 1. And then we're going to scroll down to the bit that says documentation. Okay, so we're setting up Auto GPT. So if we come all the way down here, or setting up Auto GPT, just scroll down with Git. Here, make sure you have Git installed on your operating system. We've done that. So what we want is this bit here, this clone the repository. We're going to clone the repository. So we're going to copy that. Then we're going to go back to our command window. We're going to put that in, press enter, and it should be installing it. And we're going to put the following instruction over here. Can you see this? CD Auto GPT. And that will take you to the file inside the file, as it were. Okay, so we're in that file. So as I say, the alternative is you can just click in the file and do what we did before, where we found the file. Where was it? That's the main top line file. Then we go into that. Then this little file here, we double click on that and then do the command thing where we highlight that and put in CMD. It will take you to the same place, if that makes sense. So for instance, look, see here, I close that down and then we go CMD. We're back here again, you see, Auto GPT, and then little Auto GPT file here, which is where we want to be. So there's just different ways of going around and getting there. I hope that makes sense. I hope I haven't overcomplicated it for you. Anyway, if we go back to our Auto GPT file, and then what we want to look for is this .env template, and then we're going to copy it. Okay. And then paste it. There it is, right? And then what we want to do is rename this file just so it reads. So take out the copy. So basically it was a template file. So we're using that template file to create a file, a new file as it were. And we just want to call it env. So take out the copy template bit, call it env and go yes. There we go. It's now an env file. It's not a template file. It's an env file there. So that's the next stage that you need to do. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to open with Notepad. Just once for now. Okay, and then we're in here. Now, what we need is our Open API key. Here, it wants us to put in our key, our Open API key. So what you need to do is go to OpenAI. What you need to do is set up, get yourself, create a new key here if you're not already set up. You probably will also need to set up billing because some applications that you might use won't work unless it's recognized that you've got your billing set up. Now, billing is just on a kind of, you pay for what you use. It's not a subscription or anything like that. And you can set limits if that's one of your concerns. If you go into billing down here, you've got usage limits on a monthly basis. So that you can, if you forget, for instance, using Auto GPT, I don't know, you forget to put a cancellation command in and then you've told it how to take over the world and then it spends the next week just calculating in the background how it's going to take over the world and you've not put any limits on it and it spends all your tokens, keeps spending your tokens. So you can put limits on it like that. So yeah, unfortunately, you probably will have to give it your credit card details or your payment details in order for some of the applications to work. But anyway, that's just worth knowing. But once you've got your API key, we're going to come back to that text document. Yeah, we're going to paste in that secret key. That's what we're doing next. Right. And then in this text file, what you need to do is find the bit that says OpenAI API key equals, well, I'll tell you what it equals. It equals your secret key. So just paste that in just like that. And then all you need to do is come up and save the file. And then we can close that down. Bob's your uncle. The recommendations in the user file here over on setting up Auto GPT is that we use Docker, which was the third of the programs that I talked about here. Okay, so it's Future Clive here. Now, I'm about to take you through the process for installing Docker. I installed it, ran it, but I run into problems in terms of my settings on my computer, and I couldn't resolve it. It came up saying I needed my Hyper-V enabled and data protection enabled well. And I went into the settings and I changed all those settings, but for the life of me, I could not work. So if you do have problems, skip ahead beyond the Docker bit, and I'll just take you through how you can just run Auto GPT without using Docker. But if you want to use Docker and you're successful, then great, because it is the recommended way of running it. So we will continue with the video. So it tells you about how to set it up with running Auto GPT with Docker. And we're going to take you through that now. It sounds super complicated and stuff like that. I'm assured that it's not. So that's the next bit. This is the bit where we cloned it. We've done that bit. I'm going to set it up with git/docker. So we go to Docker, which was the last of the thing. We're going to download the Windows and then we're going to install it. This one's a bit of a bigger file, so you've got to bear that in mind. About saying it's about 622 megabits, half a gig or so, just over half a gig, I guess. Okay, click the installer. Okay, I'm going to add, yeah. That took a little bit longer to install than I thought, but there we go. The next thing, you've got to close and restart your computer. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so we're back now and the computer's restarted, and you can see here, Docker subscription service agreement. Again, this is not, you're not paying any money. This is it's free for small businesses. I'm a small business, so just accept the terms accordingly there. All right, if you are successful in installing Docker, once you've installed it, click on the shortcut on your desktop, run it, so it's running in the background, and then minimize the window. Yeah. So that Docker's basically running in the background. And then what you need to do is go back to GitHub and find the section in the installation guide in GitHub where we basically were before in GitHub. And then all you need to do, you see here, we're running Auto GPT, run with Docker. So remember, Docker should be running in the background for you. Just minimize its window. Then what you need is this bit here. Docker, compose, build, Auto GPT. So you're going to copy that bit. Yeah. Then you're going to go to your file. Okay. Auto GPT. You're going to go in here, click on this one, select it, CMD. Okay. So we're back in this kind of place here. And then you're going to paste it in like that. Now, because Docker's not working for me, this is not going to work. But all you need to do is you hit enter. So for instance, me, it says Docker compose, but it's because I've uninstalled Docker. But if you are successful in installing Docker, getting it to run, then that's what you do. You hit, and then this next bit after that, go back to GitHub and you get this bit here, Docker compose run Auto GPT. Okay. And this is going to give it the instructions to basically launch and run Auto GPT. Okay. So you'll go back to the command center, and then you put that in and it would run it. Okay. And just a bit of advice here. There are some additional elements that you can add to this. So you can put here, so after this bit, --rm auto -GPT, and put a space --GPT3 only if you just want it to run GPT3 only. That's slightly cheaper than running GPT4, or --GPT4 only if you want it just to use GPT4, and then --continuous. Okay, so you put that in the code afterwards here when you paste it in to run Auto GPT. Now, the difference between continuous and not continuous basically is if you don't put continuous, what happens is Auto GPT start going through its process, running through the tasks that you've set it, whatever, and then it will keep asking you, you want me to do this next stage? This is the next stage I think we need to do. You want us to do it? And you have to keep pressing why. Now you might want to do that because it might not be doing what you want it to do. But if you just want it to kind of go off and think for itself and not keep asking you, you put --continuous. The danger with --continuous is that it could make a lot of queries to work out what it needs to do. Queries are tokens and tokens is money. So that's just something to bear in mind. Okay. But that is how you would start and run Auto GPT via Docker. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. You just take this code here and then you go and you insert it there and it will run it for you. Now, it's not going to run for me because I don't have Docker installed, but that is how you do it with Docker. Now I'll show you how you can run it without having Docker installed at all. If you don't want to install Docker, or like me, you had problems trying to run Docker. Okay, do that bit. So if you're running it in the way that I'm doing and not using Docker, for instance, and running it straight from the Auto GPT file that you've created, you can either run it from run, the Windows batch file, by clicking on that one, or run continuous Windows batch file. So run, if you click on run, what it will do, as I found out, is that it will do certain tasks and then ask you yes or no, do you want to continue? Yes, no, do you want to continue? If you run it continuous, it won't ask you. It will just go through questioning itself, criticizing itself, reasoning, and it won't say, do you want me to do the next thing? Do you want me to do the next thing? It will just do it, which is a kind of what you really want with Auto GPT. But of course, it's spending your tokens. So what I did is I experimented previously with one, and I went the run, where it continued to ask me, do I want to do the next stage? Do I want to do the next stage, etc. And it didn't quite do what I wanted or got confused. So I created a new one here using continuous mode. So I hit the run continuous. And in here, it says continuous mode is not recommended. Potentially dangerous and may cause your AI to run forever or carry out actions. Use at your own risk. So you need to tell it to shut down, basically. So it remembered, he said, would you like me to turn to being Xbox News bot, which is what I'd set up before to run as an Xbox News. And I went, no, which is what I'd set up here, an agent called Xbox News, role an AI designed to search Twitter for the current week for all the latest Xbox news. And I've said no here. Ensure they're reputable sources, collate the links, place them in a text file, blah, blah, blah. Now, what it actually seemed to do is just kind of search the internet, not Twitter. So I created a new bot here. So I ran it again, this time in continuous. I put in here, Xbox Twitter is a bot designed to search Twitter for Xbox news. And then the goals, search Twitter for hashtag Xbox and hashtag Xbox news for current week. Collect the top 10 Xbox and Xbox news tweets. Create a text file with the tweets, then shut down when done. And then you go enter for the next goal and then press enter again and it goes off and it does that stuff. And then as ever, it tells you, I'll start by searching Twitter for the top 10 hashtag Xbox and Xbox news tweets, blah, blah, blah. Going through that, I need to ensure I'm searching for the correct hashtags. Fine, nothing to do there. I will use Google command to search for the hashtag Xbox and Xbox news. I need to ensure I'm using correct search terms. And then it's come back with all these, command Google, all these tweets. Now, I noticed straight away that some of them are a bit out of date. 2022. Anyway, we'll see what it does. Maybe I need to put in the parameters for exactly for the week rather than just saying, this week. I'll start by searching Twitter for the current week. Okay. Search. Doing that, collect the top 10s. I need to ensure I'm searching for the correct hashtags. Fine. I will use write to file command to create a text file with the top 10 tweets. I will need to ensure and save the top 10 tweets. So it does it. Plan, use the write to file command. I need to ensure the file is created in the correct directory and the file name is descriptive. So it's created a file here, top Xbox tweets.txt. So it's come up with its own text file. Then it's got all the tweets down here. There's command write to file returned correctly. I will now use the task complete command to shut down the bot. Shut down. Arguments done. Shutting down. Press any key to return. So it's shut down. So hopefully there should be a file. Now the question is, where has it put the file? So we'll find that file. So to find the file, come back to your Auto GPT section again. And here you'll see Auto GPT workspace. It's created its own workspace. If we open that file and here, look, this was the one from earlier. I didn't realize it had done. Let's have a see the one it did earlier. This is the one from earlier where I asked it to summarize the news stories. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Xbox One revealed a new Star Wars game is in development. Well, it's been released. That is so out of date. Upcoming expansion for Monster Hunter Rise is coming in summer 2022. Well, it's already arrived. So a bit out of date, the news. But it needs refining, that one. But anyway, let's check out these tweets. Here we go. Xbox News on Twitter, Tweets of the Week, HuffPost. These are the top 10 tweets this week. Xbox News this week. Project X Talk and Xbox Podcasts on Apple Podcasts. Xbox wins a Twitter brand battle and emerges with a promise. Xbox News. Okay, so it hasn't quite done what I wanted maybe, and that's more down to me. But you can see, I mean, you know, human error. I think the issue here is it's the human. So I need to refine my instructions in order to sort of help the bot do what it does. And hopefully you have a bit more imagination on how you want to use Auto Chat GPT. But yeah, even a non-geek, like me, managed to work it out. And that is not using Docker as well, which makes life a little bit easier. But actually, I don't think you need it. So if you do have problems with Docker, then just skip that bit and go to the bit that I said. Just go straight into that file, Auto GPT, and then just run it from here. Either run or run continuous. Again, run continuous is going to use up tokens. You have to remember to tell it to shut itself down. Otherwise, you could get a situation where it runs on forever and spends all your tokens, and tokens is money. Or you use the run option here, and it will ask you, do you want me to continue? Do you want me to continue? Which equally is annoying. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, then please hit the likes, because I like it, YouTube likes it, and it helps people like you find content like this. And if you are new here, then arigato gozaimasu. I'd be most grateful if you'd hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell, and that way you'll know when I go live with content like this. Oh yeah, and if you do like more content like this, why don't you check out the videos right here, over here, yeah? These ones here. I think you'll enjoy them. Thanks for watching.